famous unsolved murder story. Although American films and series show policemen solving the most difficult crimes within several days of committing the crimes, this is not true on the ground. There are many murders that shook public opinion and attracted a lot of attention, but they are still unsolved. John Bean Ramsey murder. On Christmas morning 1996, John and Patsy Ramsey were unable to find their 6-year-old daughter, John Bean, who won the title of Children's Beauty Pageant. After a frantic search around the family's home in Boulder, Colorado, Mother Patsy found a 3-page handwritten ransom letter demanding a $118,000 ransom for the child's safe return home. However, it was too late. Hours after finding the letter, the same girl was found. The father found his daughter suffocated in the basement of the house. The police immediately focused on the parents as suspects in committing the crime, because they found the ransom message unusual because the girl had already been killed, and also the amount of the ransom was low for the child's wealthy parents. If the motive was the ransom demand, the kidnapper would have asked for more. However, the parents were acquitted of the crime, and the mother stated to a newspaper that she was horrified that someone might think that she or her husband might be responsible for that heinous crime. And Father John announced that his only task would be to search for the killer and bring him to death. The father offered a reward of $100,000 to anyone who brought the killer to justice. The father also expressed his displeasure with the police focus on his conviction and the ignoring of the other suspects, who included an electrician, a musician, and another person who entered their home dressed as Santa Claus. In 2006, a former teacher for the girl, Mark John Carr, said that he had killed the girl, and although he was accused of child sexual abuse, and they talked about the details of the crime, the police eventually rejected his confession and confirmed that he was a liar. The story of the murder of Amber Hagerman. On January 13, 1996, a 9-year-old girl, Amber Hagerman, was kidnapped after she raided her grandmother's house with her bicycle while she was going to ride her bicycle near an abandoned car park in East Allington, Texas. 4 days later, a man walking with his dog found the girl's body a few miles from the house in a drainage hole with her throat slit. According to police investigations, heavy rain had caused the girl's body to shrink downstream, away from the site where she was killed, although the family offered a reward of $10,000 to anyone who would testify to find the killer. The crime remains a mystery to this day. The police followed many leads during the investigation, but in the end they were unable to obtain reliable information about the crime. The only witness in the case was one of the grandfather's neighbors, a 78-year-old man named Jimmy Kevill, who testified that he saw a white or Hispanic man with a black pickup truck and that he forcibly grabbed the girl and put her in his truck. Police investigations confirmed that the kidnapper held the girl for at least 2 days before abducting her. And if people knew that Amber had been kidnapped and what she looked like, they would have reached her early and she would still be alive. Therefore, a child abduction emergency system called Amber Alarm was created in honor of the girl's name and to help quickly recover missing children. A radio system that broadcasts information on missing children and is believed to have rescued around 1,000 kidnapped children so far. The axe murders in Veliska. Those crimes occurred at the beginning of the 20th century. However, they have not been solved until now. On June 13, 1912, 2 adults and 6 children were found murdered with an axe in Veliska, Iowa. After the murderer committed his crime, he covered the faces of the dead, and he also covered all the mirrors in the house with cloth. This incident caused panic among the villagers, which prompted everyone to install more locks on the houses, and most of the villagers carried weapons everywhere, and they all suspected each other. Although most of the neighbors were peaceful, the police interviewed hundreds of townspeople, but in the end got nothing concrete. Among the suspects was former Iowa Senator Josiah Moore's president, Frank Jones, who was angry with Josiah for leaving his company and setting up his own business. After a period of the crime, another person was suspected of killing his wife, child, father, and mother-in-law with an axe 2 years after the murder of Josiah's family. Another serial killer named Henry Moore was also suspected of killing his mother and grandma with an axe 2 years after the crime of Veliska and had committed his crimes in a nearby area from the scene of the crime. But the police did not find any connection between him and the first incident. Whoever the killer was buried his secret with the family whose home was restored. It's listed on the city's National Register of Historic Places and is open for tours. Killings with Tylenol. It was one of the strangest incidents that the police could not solve. When someone refilled capsules of the painkilling and antipyretic drug Tylenol with highly toxic potassium cyanide. The first victim was a 12-year-old girl named Mary Kellerman. and 6 others died before the company that produced the drug, Johnson & Johnson, realized something was wrong and was recalling 31 million bottles of the drug from the market. The company's losses amounted to more than $100 million. But it won praise from the panicked public to reassure them more. The company changed the packages and warned against using any medicine package unless it was well sealed. And other companies followed suit. The police found no motive whatsoever for the crime. And although a tax consultant sent the police a message that he would stop the killing for $1 million and was arrested and imprisoned for racketeering, he was not the culprit. The police analyzed the DNA of some serial killers on suspicion of wanting to destroy major corporations. But in the end they reached a dead end. And the perpetrator is not known until today.